America. A few words that come to mind when we think about America. Industrialized, let's see, technologically advanced. One's called the greatest nation in the whole world. Today, more commonly known as the fattest nation in the whole world. According to the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, more than 1/3 of adults in the United States is obese. Not just overweight, actually obese. And what's one of the main causes of this is, of course, laziness. We in America are getting lazier and lazier, having things done for us more and more. And the overweight population is just continuing to grow. So what do we do about this? Do we eat healthier? No. Do we exercise more? No. What do? We do what we do best in America. We take the easy way out. We try diet pills. Magical little capsules that we've been told will melt the fat right off your body. So we've been told. And today I'd like to outline the reasons why not to use diet pills. And those include the simple fact that they don't work, that they can be really expensive, and they come with numerous health risks. As seen through the diet pill ads on TVs, movie previews, on the radio, they can give you the body of a supermodel in just 1 week. You can lose 10 pounds in 2 days. All that stupid stuff. But does anyone actually believe that? Well, apparently so, because a study done by Market Data Enterprises, a leading independent research company, on prweb.com, they showed that we are at an all-time high for diet pill consumption. Approximately 75 million people in America today are or have recently used diet pills. And that translates roughly to about 1/4 of all Americans. NBCnews.com reports about a recent study done in Germany in which scientists tested several weight loss supplements, and they found that the weight loss supplements can't live up to the promises on their bottles and through the marketing, and they didn't seem to, the pills didn't seem to work any better than the placebos used in the control tests. BBC News also did a report that a team from the University of Alberta, Canada, they pulled evidence from 30 placebo-controlled trials involving nearly 20,000 people, where the adults took one of 3 anti-obesity drugs for a year or longer. They found that the pills, like orlistat, reduced more than less than 5%. So if you think about that, over a whole year, the body fat reduced, the weight that they lost was less than 5%. That's 0.05, but that's not enough to even say that the pills did anything over a whole year. So even with millions of negative reviews and constant studies showing that they don't work, the diet pill industry is still striving. So why is that? So next I'll focus on how expensive they can be. Market Data Enterprises, they calculated that the diet pill industry is at a high of approximately $60 billion. They estimate in 2014 an increase of 3.3% for the revenue for the top 8 commercial diet pill chains. As the overweight epidemic continues, so does the sales of the pills. The prices vary on average from as low as $20 all the way up to $150 or more. To some that might not seem like much, $20 to lose some weight, yeah, that sounds great. But when you consider it's just a bottle of pills that don't actually really do anything, it doesn't really seem worth it. RenovoClinic.com states that 73% of people that have used diet pills and were unsatisfied with the results that they got came back to buy the more expensive version with hopes that it would work better. As you can see, that's where the industry gets most of their money. People are unsatisfied with the cheap pills, so they figure, hey, the more expensive pills probably work a lot better, let me go buy those. And then obviously that doesn't work, so then they try a more expensive version. It's just a constant cycle of buying stuff that doesn't work. And of course, last but not least, talk about the side effects. Most people don't realize how dangerous these pills can actually be. But as with all pills, there are side effects, but it just kind of depends on what it is, and they vary from the levels of intensity. The National Institute for Health and Clinical Excellence recorded that some of the drugs like rimonabant an appetite suppressant, gives users an increased risk of mental health problems. Those taking rimonabant were 40% more likely to suffer from depression and anxiety. That's almost a 1 in 2 chance of getting depression or anxiety, which is pretty likely. I mean, why would you want to be depressed just to lose a couple pounds? Susan Moores from NBC News stated that when the fat blocker Ally hit pharmacy shelves, hopeful consumers stampeded for the first government-approved over-the-counter weight loss drug. But it did not take long for the troublesome side effects such as not being able to control your own bowels and the lack of real weight loss for some to convince many dieters that Ally wasn't the sole answer to the weight problems. So Ally, it was designed to block fat in your system, and what it does is it actually turns all that extra fat into like an oily substance, and your body actually can't control it. So I mean, basically you need to wear a diaper to use it, because it'll just leak. It's disgusting. Another product, sibutramine, is another appetite suppressant, and according to Stephanie Watson of Discovery Health and Fitness, has caused 49 deaths over a 5-year period. So I mean, they died because they wanted to lose a couple pounds instead of just going to the gym, eating a little healthier. They tried to use these pills, and what happened? I mean, they died from it. So as you can see, there are a lot of really riskful things in taking pills and medication when you don't actually read the label and stuff. So today I've outlined why not to use diet pills, which include that they don't work, that they can be really expensive, and that they have a lot of dangerous health risks. There are way safer ways to lose weight, such as eating a little healthier and getting a little exercise. It may take a little longer and it's a little extra work, but in the end, it'll all be worth it.
So Roland, what did you think?
I think overall it was definitely good. You seem slightly nervous, but not overly nervous. A little more enthusiasm in your voice would have been probably helped you out a lot, and you also had some nervous movements. But your structure was really good, and your statistics and references were really solid too.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that the content stuff is really solid. You've got a lot of information in the speech that you put it together well. It's pretty clearly organized and easy to follow. So you know, I don't have a lot of complaints about the structural issues in the speech or the way you built your argument. I think maybe you could do me a little bit more about talking about how other things would accomplish the weight loss more effectively. I know you're talking mainly about people's over-reliance on the diet pills, and I don't want you to give a speech telling everybody to exercise and eat right. But if a couple of easy comparisons, for instance, if you could show people if they look, instead of taking a pill that causes you to have oily anal leakage, you could you could skip eating at McDonald's twice a week, or you could go walking for a half hour 3 or 4 times a week. That would be a much better outcome for us, that sort of thing. So something a little simple like that, I think, would add a little bit to the content and make it a little more complete. But what you did, I thought, was very good and effective. The presentation issues, if I'm listening to you, I think you're doing a great job. You look at the audience and engage us very well. You're not overly dependent on the script. You're speaking to us. But you've got the nervous feet, boy. That's where it's all coming out. You Yeah, you can't stand still at all. And I'm not saying that you have to stand still, but you need your movements to be controlled and connected to what you're talking about. You just look like you're shimmying and shaking the whole time that you're speaking, and that just looks odd. But you need to step forward to emphasize a particular point. Walk over and talk to a different part of the room. Step back and and that way you're still doing movement and getting that energy out, but you're doing it in a way that's kind of controlled, and you're using it to help you sell the idea rather than just dissipating all the anxiety stuff. And I know that sounds like that's the brutal thing I've got to say about the speech. Everything else was really solid, so you can live with hearing something about that and make do with it. Something to work on. That's what we're looking for every time. If you're getting it right, everybody should pat themselves on the back for the stuff that they're getting right. Find something to work on. That's the next step, and that's the next thing that you need to work on. All right.